Welcome, everyone. My name is Nathan Jarosz with Summit County Progressive Democrats. We are beginning a series where we are interviewing the Akron mayor candidates. And to start our series off is Deputy Mayor Marco Sommerville. Thank you so much for joining me.
Pleasure to be here.
Good to have you. So my first question is, why are you running for mayor?
Well, I'm running for mayor because this is a great city, a great place to live. I was married here. I have 3 children that were born here in Akron. I was educated in Akron. I'm homegrown. I'm a person who's been involved in the community for a number of years. I've had numerous positions in the community, whether that's NAACP, president of Akron City Council, planning director for the city, and now senior advisor to the mayor, just to name a few. And also I've been involved in AMHA housing, where I currently serve as the chairman and was just recently reelected.
And so why do you believe you are qualified to be the mayor of Akron?
I think it's because of all my experience. I started a business from scratch. I'm a business person.
Sure.
And I've owned other businesses too.
Sure.
And so I have a great sense of how to form ideals and make things happen. I have a great background in identifying good talent. And I've had opportunity to serve in so many different arenas that have made me prime candidate for this position for mayor of the city of Akron.
Now, from all your experience that you've had, is there a specific accomplishment you would like to highlight?
Well, you know, when you've had a career that has been so long, it's kind of hard to pick out one or two things. But one thing that I would like to pick out that I think I'm very proud about, and that is the fact when I was a ward councilman, we had a development called Edgewood. And in Edgewood, there was a situation where the housing authority unfortunately made the decision to move all the elderly people out of the facility and bring younger people back into the facility. So you can imagine when they changed that mix of people, all kind of crazy things started happening. The homicide rate went through the roof. People started doing all kind of crazy things there. So I went to the housing authority. We did an assessment what was going on, and we decided that we would take down some of the buildings because the density, there was just too much density. The police could ride through the complex and couldn't see between buildings, so we thought if we lessened the density that it would be better. And we tried that and it just didn't work. So eventually what we did, I knew that HUD had money available called Hope 6 at the time, that there were funds available to transform that neighborhood. And so I flew to Boston along with then Mayor Pasquale, and we met at a hotel in Boston with a guy named Alfonso Jackson, who at that time was the HUD director, and we made our case about Edgewood. He made it real clear that Akron had already received Hope 6 money in Edgewood Village. And as I continued to talk to him even more, I tried to convince him that we needed another one. And he had told me that there were some problems in Detroit, and they had kind of fumbled the ball with their Hope 6 money, and there may be some money available. The other thing that I knew before I met with him is that he was a graduate of Lincoln University, which is a historical black college. And my daughter, Margot, who's the council president, is a graduate of that college. So, of course, I had to tell him that, about my daughter going to school and making that. And he said, you know what, let me listen to you a little bit more. And so, make a long story short, we were able to convince him to give us another Hope 6. So what we did, we demolished Edgewood, tore it all the way down to the ground, and we built it up new. So 10 years later, we've only had one murder there. And that hasn't been that long ago that happened. And it was a domestic when that happened. But the fact that after 10 years and no murders, to me, that's a major accomplishment.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. Now, another question we have is, what does it mean to be progressive? And would you identify yourself as a progressive?
Well, of course I'm a progressive. I mean, I don't, when I was doing this stuff, it wasn't anything about being progressive,
Sure.
But I'm definitely a person that who looks to the future. I'm a person that makes people have to think a little bit more. I'm thinking outside the box all the time. My views have always been with the police department more progressive. I don't think I know there's not a candidate in this race that knows more about the Akron Police Department, the comings and the goings, the issues and the problems and solutions to change that. So we're more and well prepared to do that. But the fact that I have, if you look at my record, I've said a whole lot of things through the years. One of the things was marijuana. I was like, listen, we need to decriminalize it. And that was a long time ago.
Sure.
And I can remember getting calls from judges who said they agreed with me, but they could never go on the record to say it. And that was such a long time ago. Now we've seen where it's at now, and I'm sure eventually it will be legalized. So I'm always on the cutting edge. Never sit back and wait for things to happen. I'll make things happen.
Now, I know you've had probably a lot of talks with members of the community, citizens in your campaign. What have you identified as some of the most important issues or priorities for the city of Akron?
Well, I have a number of priorities. The first priority is going to be to make sure that we have a police force that is representative of the community, a police force that is equitable, justice when they do whatever they're going to do in the community, and also equal justice for all. And I'm going to make sure that issue 10 is implemented correctly, even though it has a lot of issues of things that if I could start from scratch, you might change. But we're going to take what we have, and we're going to make it work. And if it needs some adjustments, unfortunately, if we have to make some adjustments, we might take it back to the ballot. But we'll have to see as time goes on the best way to handle that.
Thanks for bringing up even the policing issue. That's one of my questions I was wanting to get your thoughts on. So with the passing of issue 10, we know that created the Citizens Police Oversight Board. So what is your opinion of that board? Do you feel it's enough, or what do you feel needs to be done to provide more accountability for policing in Akron?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction. When I was council president, there was not a process in place for a person to make a complaint, which is hard to believe. No one could make a complaint. And normally when you made a complaint back in those days, you made it to that officer's superior officer or the person he reported to. And of course, no paper trail of what happened, or no way to see if the policeman was right or wrong. And more importantly, no way to correct what he did. And sometimes that problem could have been a training problem, which affect other people. So there's no record of it. It just made no sense to me. So of course we advocated to make sure that people start having to take complaints, and so then the mayor had to eventually come out and say that if someone didn't take a complaint, that they would be held accountable for that. So that's the beginning of it. So we eventually, and later on, we went to a auditor's form of oversight,
Sure.
where we hired one person. He was supposed to watch what happens, and even though he was a one-man show, and I think he had tremendous odds against him, the police didn't want to talk to him. The mayor's office at the time didn't want anything to do with him. But the fact that Phil Young did a phenomenal job of what he had to do. I mean, we haven't always agreed on everything, but I will say that I feel he's done a tremendous job. And I think what we're going to find out, too, after this Jalen Walker case is looked at, that Akron, chances are, may not get taken over by the DOJ. Now, I don't have any insight, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that the things that we've done in the past have made us not be in that situation. Do we have concerns? Absolutely. Can we be better? Absolutely. So I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we've gotten to where we need to go, but I think the issue 10 is another step in that direction, and I think we should follow in that direction.
The last issue question I had was on the significant legislation by City Council to approve the White Pond project. Would you like to share your thoughts on that decision by City Council to proceed with that project?
Well, you know, first of all, let me start. I think it's a good project. I'll just be honest about it. I think it's a good project. Do I think it could have been explained better? Could it have been rolled out better? Absolutely. It should have been rolled out better. And generally, these things don't happen overnight. The White Pond piece of legislation was brought in the first of the year, the first of last year, and nobody at the time, the ward councilman was for it. One of the candidates who's even running for mayor at the time was for it. And the fact that later on, when more people start showing up,
Yeah.
you know, some people put their finger to the wind to see which way the wind is blowing. And that's the way I think that was kind of handled, and people just played to the crowd, and that was wrong. So we need to, first of all, make sure that people have the right information and have a way to participate. And I don't think that happened with that. So as the mayor of the city, I would take the lead. I would sell it to the council and make sure that all their questions were answered. And if they needed more information, I'd make sure that information was available. And then that way they can all make an intelligent and correct decision.
Very good. One other question I had, it come from some members of the community, had expressed some concern about having the city council president, who is Margot Sommerville, your daughter, and then...
Who is she? I don't know who she is.
You don't know? Yeah, I know. I thought you might know of her.
No relationship.
No relationship, right? But some have expressed maybe a little concern about having a mayor and the daughter being in the top maybe 2 leadership positions with city council and the executive role in the city of Akron. Would you like to just convey a message to those citizens who might have that concern?
Yeah, well, it's really no concern at all. When I decided to run for mayor, I went and had a discussion with my daughter and explained to her that it would not be a good idea at all for her to be the council president, and I'm the mayor. The council president gets beat up a lot by the mayor, and it would be very hard to beat up my daughter that I love so much. So rather than put her through that, rather than me to go through that, I think it would be better that she would not serve as president, and then that way that takes that all away, and I can beat up on the new council president.
All right. How can people get in touch with your campaign, whether they want to contribute, be a volunteer, or even just learn more information about you?
Well, it's Sommerville for Mayor. That's the website. Ask people to look at our website. Also, we'd ask you to donate. There's a place where you can donate and participate that way also. And if you have concerns or thoughts or problems or things that you think we need to know, or situations that are happening right now in real time that need someone's attention, send it to me. Let me look at it, and we'll see if we can get it resolved. Because really and truly, I'm going to be the mayor of the city, but I'm always be a councilman. And I like that about myself, because I always see a problem, and I always want to solve it. And I'm not going to just be just the mayor to be the mayor. I want to be a mayor that gets things done. I want to be a mayor that's going to be out here talking to the people and listening to the people and making things happen.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. Deputy Mayor Marco Sommerville running for Akron Mayor. Thank you for watching.